What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Minorities Podcast. I'm your host, JC. Over here, we got our Giants ghost, Nori. I have a little trouble with the camera green screen there. But if you play Among Us, you know this is kind of what happens, right? When you get killed in Among Us, that's just what goes down.
Finish your tasks.
Finish your tasks, everybody. Finish your tasks. Down below him, in a jungle somewhere, we got Chicken Wing.
Big Ben Asteroth, blah, 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 blah.
And the only one of us whose team has survived in advance and is on to the conference championships, we got Rob.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Appropriate that he's got Washington there on Inauguration Day, too. I guess that does kind of fit as well.
Rob.
So,
Rob, you're not. Don't speak to me, Rob. You retired Lord Breezes. Don't talk to me.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. For those watching, of course, you can follow us along on Twitter at SportsMinorPod. It's right there at the very bottom of the screen. Today, we're going to run down the the Divisional Round weekend, how we're doing on our bracket challenge here, and later on, we'll make some picks for the conference championships. We'll also discuss some of the NFL coaching hires and what teams haven't made a hire yet, and a little bit of sports news to share, including a discussion about what has gone on in the NBA. Of course, last week we talked about the big Harden trade, but has it panned out and how has it blown things up? It's going to be a lot of discussion on that. Nori might actually lead the discussion on that. He's kind of probably the bigger NBA guy here. So let's first talk a bit about the Divisional Round weekend. Let's just throw the standings up here. I'm pretty much done at this point because I think I can only get more points if Green Bay wins this weekend. So I got 16 points on the weekend. Chicken Wing and Mike got 24. Rob had a perfect weekend on his bracket, 32 points, 4-0. So Rob is in first at 52 points, Nori in second at 40, Chicken Wing at 36, and myself at 28. Hey, last seems to be the theme for me. I finished last in fantasy football, finished last in our Pick'em challenge. I'm finishing last here. That's just how it's going for me, I guess. So.
None of that negativity. None of that.
Well, that's for me, not for you. I mean, Yeah. So, the games this weekend, anything really come out and surprise you guys from what you saw? From all the games that we watched, really. It was an interesting divisional round. Interesting in that only two teams were going and rested because you had Kansas City and Green Bay, the only ones getting a bye, so you wonder how that was going to play out. Go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
I was going to say, I thought Cleveland really had a chance to win it when Mahomes went down with a concussion. But Henny, man, how about that? He brought it. That big play at the end to get the first down or close to the first down was insane. So, but I don't think Cleveland has anything to be disappointed about this season. It wasn't the Browns. Browns are the Browns. The Browns had a chance to win. They got in that position, and it's hard to win in Kansas City. So, not surprised at all by that. So, but the interesting thing is that Mahomes' injury, whether he comes back or not, gonna hurt the Chiefs against Buffalo this weekend.
Yeah, I thought it was criminal that Cleveland got robbed yet again for the Browns. I thought they were done getting robbed. Mm-hmm. I thought they had enough bad football history, but that helmet to helmet was a touchdown. It wasn't reviewed. That's a horrible NFL rule. It's a horrible touchback rule, and they really mathematically should have won the game. It's crazy they didn't, which nobody saw coming. They did a lot better than I thought they would.
Yeah, because in college, they can buzz down if they miss a targeting call and they see something. That's probably something that they need to institute in the NFL, because in college, they can do that. If the refs miss it, we'll buzz it down and say, hey, we see targeting. Let's get this guy out. Let's put the penalty on. And yeah, that's definitely something that costs them. Like, if you're going to have the rule, enforce it correctly for player safety. That's the point of it. So
I mean, it cost them the game. You know, they didn't lose by 14. They lost by 5. Mm-hmm. Like, that cost them the game. That sucks.
That was the difference. What else do we have this weekend? Rams at Green Bay. uh, Rob, you look like you want to say something about this game. So
No,
no.
nothing at all.
Uh-huh.
I was just I couldn't see the Rams winning without a healthy Jared Goff and without there was one more person that was out. So yeah,
Cooper
it was
Cup,
just
I think, was out. Was he still
yeah,
out? Yeah.
Cup. There you go. They're one of their slot receiver.
hmm
So like with two key weapons out, it just pretty obvious.
Looking back, Buffalo at Baltimore. Buffalo's just scary good right now. I mean,
That was
Baltimore.
to be expected.
Yeah. Uh,
To be expected.
I feel like
Yeah.
the game itself was. I didn't expect it to be as much of a defensive struggle, but I was surprised at how well they shut the Ravens down to just 3 points.
Hey, 3 points in the first half for both teams was kind of crazy.
Yeah, and
True. But that game would have been honestly 10-3 had it not been for that pick six, that 101-yard pick six.
mhm.
I mean, I can't say that's how bad the offense was playing for Buffalo, but that just goes to show how good their defense was against Lamar and company. Lamar pump fakes, and you see that meme with Stephen A. Just
No one's flinching. No one's flinching.
no
He's
one,
gonna run the
like,
ball.
no, like come on, bro, give me
and
something better than that.
and that pick was just he was looking at his receiver down the whole way, and he
Oh yeah,
Telegraphed,
yeah,
staring
it
at
was
him.
He
easily
was literally
telegraphed.
Staring down.
staring at him.
Here's the guy I'm going at for the touchdown. I was like, nope, got you. So, Rob, let's talk about your Bucks. Let's talk about the Saints, who for the third straight year are eliminated from the playoffs at home. Um,
Bad way to retire.
yeah, obviously, I think you might have been the only ones to pick. Yeah, you're the only ones to pick Tampa. Obviously, it's your home, it's your team. But really, I mean, history serves me right. If a team beats you twice in a season, they're usually probably winning the playoffs. But that said, do y'all think this is it for Drew Brees?
Yes,
Yes,
yes. I
I'm surprised they
think
haven't announced it yet.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm really surprised Philip Rivers announced first because I really expected him to announce like the day after, not necessarily. I mean, he still has a year on the contract, so technically he can
Mhm.
still come back. But I fully expected him to announce it after he had that moment on the field with his family.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't linger that long after a loss, and just to let it stew and like people know you're gonna retire. Like you've said, this is gonna be the end of my season, all of that. So I don't see any reason why he hasn't done it already, unless he's really, really pondering coming back with all the injuries that he had this year, trying to play next year.
That might be a reason why he comes back. Maybe he feel like he got robbed of a final season because of injuries, and to fill out the contract. But all he said is he's going to take some time to think. He doesn't want to make an emotional decision. My hope, if I'm the Saints, is can you let us know before the draft because we got to figure out what the hell we're doing.
True.
That's a big thing there. So, but Brady looks to be in playoff Brady form. That's the scary part about it, and honestly, I feel at this point I'm not sure how I feel about them going into Green Bay. All of a sudden, I feel like they can win anywhere. I know Tampa has the long time curse of not playing well in cold weather, and you know it would be
But
interesting if it ends up being Buffalo versus Brady in the Super Bowl, and Buffalo has to beat Brady again to possibly win a championship.
to prove themselves.
Yes.
It's
the,
ironic.
the funniest thing is that like it wouldn't be the first time for Brady to go to play in the cold. So like
Yeah.
so you have a experienced quarterback who's experienced playing in the cold weather as a home team going into Green Bay. I'm like, well, that, and then they're playing at their hottest right now. Like receivers are catching, um, like Fournette is playing amazing. Like he's making catches. He's like getting them the first downs that they need. So I mean, they're on fire right now, and I'm gonna get my third team, and then everything ends. No more sports ever again.
First off, how serious is the Antonio Brown injury, though?
I don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference. Antonio Brown has been the exception to the touchdown passes. Like Godwin is the major weapon. Mike Evans is a major weapon. I think
Mhm.
between them, Fournette is catching the football. Like he's playing this like weird slot receiver. So like I'm still confident that going into Green Bay, it's gonna be a shootout.
All right.
What about your defense though? Against A-Rod? That's the real question. We know you can score, but can you deal with A-Rod?
No,
You're expecting
not
a
a chance.
shootout from the
Not
chances
a
it
chance.
is.
I'm expecting a shootout.
Has anybody checked the weather in Green Bay? Because whether it's going to
They
be,
play at 3, right? 2 or
Yeah.
3?
it's going to
I
be
can
at
look.
2 o'clock Central Time, so 2 o'clock
can
their
look.
time in Green Bay as well.
24 degrees, 28 degrees.
Any snow in the
I hope they
forecast?
play completely different
Imagine snow.
because last time they played, Bucks lost 38-10. Like they were pretty free. So I
Right.
hope they do something different.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
this is
pretty
not the
sure they
same.
would, but
This
that
is
was
not the
at the
same Bucks.
time
This is
that
the
they
same Bucks
were.
that lost to the Saints twice. This is not the
Yeah,
same.
Mm-hmm.
This is
I mean,
not.
that was them.
I've been hating on Green Bay all year, but it was really impressive what they did to the Rams. Very
Mhm.
impressive. I
Mm,
I don't expect it to be a shootout. I really don't.
I don't either. It's gonna be
The
28
Rams
degrees with
wasn't
snow
going to be a
showers.
Rams wasn't going to be a shootout when you don't have your starting quarterback and your starting star receiver. Like
I didn't think there was going to be a shootout there either. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought they were going to win by field goal. I didn't think it was going to be a shootout.
No, I think it's gonna be under 40 points total, Rob. It's gonna be snow showers mixture in
I
Green Bay
mean,
on
that's going to
Sunday.
make it harder to throw the ball, obviously, and
Yeah.
kick it. It's
Yeah,
going to be a lot on the running game as well. So,
I'll be back.
okay.
exactly.
Well, while Rob steps out, we'll kind of pick the conference championship games later. I think we all pretty
Let's
much
talk shit about it.
Let's
Let's
talk
talk
shit
shit
about.
about it. Yeah.
Unless you want to pick all the conference games now, we'll come back around to Rob if you guys want to do that now. What do you think?
I hate
Uh,
Rob. I hate him. Sucks. He's not getting the trifecta. I hope he trips on a Lego of some sort. Steps on Legos. Hits his knee against the bedpost.
Now you're just being wrong. That's just gross, dude.
He's
Inhumane.
not getting the trifecta. He's not. Okay, I'm done.
All right. You know what? Might as well, before we get into the NFL coaching talk, let's go ahead and pick our conference championship winners who we think, because we're already talking about it. You might as well. NFC wise, Tampa at Green Bay. That's at 2 o'clock on Fox Central Time. And then AFC is Buffalo at Kansas City, 5:40 on CBS. Both games are on a Sunday. Uh, Nori, we'll go ahead and start with you. Who are you picking for both games? Right now, looking at these two teams, what is your Super Bowl 55 going to be?
I think it depends on the health of Kansas City. I think they're kind of downplaying how hurt Mahomes is because there's two injuries. It was the concussion, which if it wasn't for Mahomes, he would be on concussion protocol. But it's not Mahomes, so they said it's some kind of nerve in his neck.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that means. But I think,
Concussion protocol.
yeah, every other player who's not him or a major star with the playoffs, I think he'd be under concussion protocol, but they would lose too much money with that. So I think, yeah, they said something about his neck being out or his neck hurting or some kind of thing. And then there's also his left toe got spun around after the play in the third quarter.
Right.
So I think the Bills are really, really, really hot. I think I'm changing my pick, actually. I had the Chiefs, but I don't know. Mahomes don't look 100%, and the Bills are on fire. I see no reason to root against a really hot team where every time we thought somebody would beat them, they've been decimating everybody. I'm going to go with the Bills beating the Chiefs by 7.
And the NFC game, Tampa at Green Bay.
I got Green Bay winning by 7 also.
All right. Chicken Wing, what do you have? What is your Super Bowl looking like, looking at these two weekends games?
Well, I still hate Rob, so it's gonna be Green Bay, regardless of the score, 99-0. Okay, I don't care what it is. I still hate him. As far as the AFC game is concerned, I'm still gonna get the Chiefs. They're coached very well, and Andy Reid has proven himself to be deserving of the Hall of Fame, especially with his coaching, what he's done with talent, and both on the AFC and NFC when he was coaching the Eagles. So I still see that sadly the Bills and story is going to end, and it's going to be Green Bay. Screw you, Rob.
We know what you really think
No,
now.
it's going to be Green Bay. Now, because I'm looking at your flag. Green Bay versus Kansas City.
We'll let Rob go last because we kind of know one of his teams. I'm going with Buffalo, at least on the AFC side. Kansas City, those injuries to Mahomes are very questionable, and I think the fact that he hasn't fully practiced, is not clear protocol, you mentioned potential nerve issues in a neck, and that takes a lot longer than a week to go away, and
True.
that's gonna be an issue. And the way Buffalo is playing right now, they're gonna find any weakness they can find and exploit it. This game could potentially be a shootout, but I do like the way Buffalo is playing. They are a team possessed, and there's going to be a lot of broken chairs from Bills Mafia, or broken tables from Bills Mafia this weekend. So I got Buffalo win on the AFC side. On the NFC side, I have had so many flashbacks in my head of Green Bay hosting an NFC championship and not pulling it off. Nori knows what I'm talking about because his Giants went in there and won and ended up winning the Super Bowl. So with the way the Bucks are playing right now, they've been very impressive running this on the road. I'm convinced right now they're going to go into Green Bay and chase their cold weather demons because they do have Tom Brady there, and it's going to be Tampa Bay and Buffalo in the Super Bowl. Now, Rob, I believe on your bracket picks you had the same thing. Let me check again. Yeah, you had Buffalo and Tampa. Are you sticking with that as your Super Bowl this weekend?
Yes,
Or-
I'm gonna stick with that. The Mahomes injury just solidified it for me. Like, he's even if he does play, he's not gonna play at 100%. And you're fighting against a hot Bills team right now.
Mhm.
And then on the flip side, you've got two coaches on Tampa Bay. You've got Tom Brady coaching, and you've got Bruce Arians coaching. So
Exactly.
you play from a very well coached and a very experienced point of view. So like you have your foundation there for a solid play. So hopefully with that experience, they beat those cold weather demons and go play in the Super Bowl. So that's what I'm hoping, at least.
It's going to be an interesting Sunday. I would say our Discord chats afterwards will be interesting. But as I mentioned, we'll find out after this weekend if we're all going to be talking about what our teams are doing next season, or if we're going to have to prolong that until after the Super Bowl. Either way, so we'll see how this goes. So, other news in the NFL, we had a lot of coaching hires this past week. The dominoes all suddenly seemed to just fall into place, and all it took was for the Jaguars to hire Urban Meyer. Damn it. That kind of knocked it all off. So,
Oh yeah.
for once, though, the Jags made a smart hire. I got to hand it to them. This is a bit of a gamble, though. College coaches don't always pan out in the NFL. It's a different thing. Nick Saban obviously had issues with the fact that he didn't have complete control of the roster. It just wasn't working. Then he goes back to college and starts winning national championships, and that worked out for him. So, Urban Meyer, though, I think is risky because he has a history of coaching for a few years and then having to retire for health reasons. He did it at Florida. He did Ohio State. It's been a couple years.
Played in
You know,
2 years.
Yeah. And I know, let's face it, an NFL job can be a lot more stressful, a lot more pressure to win than a college job. So we'll see how he handles this.
Yeah, but haven't like both the retirements been not on field things that have happened? It's been choices with coaching staff. It's been choices with
He claims health reasons both times. It could have been coaching
Health.
staff. Yeah. It's never where he was fired. It was just, he went
no.
and won.
I retired.
Yeah.
That's right.
You ain't firing me. I quit.
Yeah.
With a pension.
All right. A lot
Quit.
about our hires out there. Let's see. Chicken Wing, you got to look for a new defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh
We-
is going
we got
to the
him.
Jets. Oh, you did find one. Okay.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was hired internally.
So promoted from within. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How well do you think Saleh's going to do in New York with the Jets?
Very smart. Very smart guy. I think if he has full control of his staff, he can turn that team around in a few years. Given what they currently have as far as the next few years of draft, he can definitely turn it around. So who we picked up or who we hired, JC, you might remember this name, DeMarco Ryans.
I think so. Sounds
Used
familiar.
to play in the SEC, so he got promoted to DC.
Nice. Familiar with the personnel he's got. That's a good promotion.
Yes.
Within.
You know who Robert Saleh hired as his wide receivers coach?
Say again?
It's actually funny.
No.
Do you know who Robert Saleh hired as his wide receivers coach? It's kind of funny. Miles Austin, the wide receiver Cowboys guy.
No way. Really?
That's the wide receivers coach.
I know
He
he was
wasn't
not
bad.
coaching. It's not a
He
bad.
wasn't bad.
No,
He wasn't bad.
No, I got to see him play in 2010. Actually, he made some great catches when I went to see Dallas and Tennessee up in Arlington. So, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Cool hire for him.
Yeah.
Another team leaving the NFC West, or another coordinator leaving the NFC West. Brandon Staley leaving the Rams defensive coordinator position to take the Chargers job. So moving, staying in the same stadium, just switching conferences, basically what's going on. But yeah, that's good for him. Dan Campbell is formerly the Saints' assistant head coach, is going to take the job in Detroit. And Arthur Smith, Titans offensive coordinator, is heading to Atlanta.
Looks happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
He seems sad.
I'm happy for him. I just hate that we got a guy that's working a great offense that we have, and now we got to find another offensive coordinator. This is the same shit that happened to Mariota. We couldn't get a consistent offensive coordinator. Don't screw up the offense. So I don't know what the plans are as far as promoting from within. If they're going to hire out elsewhere, I would hope it's from somebody within that they're developing. But we'll see what Vrabel decides to do with that. So
definitely not tightening it up. That's for sure next year.
Shut the hell up. But as far as the two vacancies that are still out there, Houston has conducted 9 interviews. They finally interviewed Eric Bieniemy, but they still haven't made a hire yet for the head coaching position. The Philadelphia Eagles have conducted 5 interviews. They have 6 more planned or requested, including Eric Bieniemy. Still no hire yet, but obviously they're late to the game. Houston, though, was the first to fire their coach this season, and they still haven't hired a replacement. And with all the drama around Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt and everything like that, does anybody really want to go to Houston and coach?
Would you?
No.
Well, you're spiteful and you are against Houston.
I mean, I might go to help them go 2-14 and to tank, but not get a top pick. But that's about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
you would do that.
I would Pete Rose that shit. That's basically what would happen. So, but no, I mean, it's kind of a dumpster fire right now. The team's pretty much announced they're either going to trade J.J. Watt or cut him before they have to pay him next year.
They don't even know if they have a quarterback. I mean,
No.
That's one of those things with the chicken and the egg. Like, where there's so many fires to put out, where do you start? Deshaun Watson don't know who the coach is coming. No coach wants to go unless Deshaun Watson would commit.
Yeah,
like that's a bad situation. That's a really bad situation.
Get rid of the most expensive piece.
Well,
then you have to full rebuild that.
But that's the thing. Granted, if he gets traded, obviously he's only going to cost whatever team he goes to $10 million this year. But then he costs like $35 million the next year and the year after that. So if you're going to make a trade for him, you got to find a team that's willing to pay that money in a quarterback. Maybe not for the first year, but for the future years, obviously, right?
Well,
you know.
So I read. So good thing you brought that up. So I read actually after this year. For his contract, the team can restructure his contract
if he'll agree to it.
If he has to agree to it.
Yeah.
No, that's what Houston did on purpose. Houston did that on purpose. Ironically, that is the smartest thing they ever did. They said, "We'll give you this, but we can enforce a restructure if we have to." And I bet partly because of J.J. Watt's contract, he still had that big mega contract that they were still paying out. So they figured if they're going to keep them both, then they have to change their contract.
That could be potential.
That was probably the exchange for the no trade clause. That's probably the give and take on that one.
Some of the front runners though for that trade have been the Jets and the Dolphins actually, and obviously this is all contingent on Watson waiving his no trade clause.
Right. Yeah, because he ain't going to the Jags. That's for damn sure. And he's definitely not going to Indy.
Honestly, hold on. Why do you think he wouldn't go to Indy?
Because Houston's.
I don't think Texans would trade within their division.
In their division.
They've made some questionable trades in the past. See DeAndre Hopkins, which I think was the greatest trade they ever did. But
greatest trade.
They've never, in their history, I think they've been smart enough not to trade in the division. That seems to be the thing. Unless Indy's given up a lot. Obviously, Phillip Rivers just retired after 17 seasons and 9 kids later. Congrats to him. He's going to go coach high school football in Alabama, excuse me. So
yeah,
it's very exciting for him. But
so I mean, unless you're going to sacrifice 9 goats 7 kids and like 13 draft picks, you're not going to trade in that division. There's absolutely no way that Houston's going to make a division rival better than them. Like, it's no point. So that's why I'm saying Houston and Indy are off the table.
Unless their immediate plan is just to tank next year, then anything's open. If you're just going to tank the season,
Houston has to tank. They're getting rid of Watson and what? They're tanking.
Yeah, if you're tanking the season, what does it matter what they're giving up? Because they are rebuilding. Like, it doesn't matter who in the division gets them.
I think
it goes back to what JC says. You're not gonna trade within your own division.
I think Indy would give a good package. They could offer pieces, and I also think Watson would definitely waive his no trade clause to beat their ass twice a year for the next 5 years at least. I think he'd do it.
And it'd be an indoor stadium too. So
I still think Miami has the most attractive package, but I wouldn't be surprised if Indy really kind of kicks the tires on.
Miami at least has the draft picks to go along with it. They have some draft slots that they could trade. That's why I think they're a good shot.
I think Jets with the better package.
So you're thinking, and I can see if the Jets are trading their number 2 pick, which go to Houston. Houston can probably take Justin Fields, who just officially announced for the NFL draft.
Yep.
If they offer that, you think they would take that as well. So.
I mean, that and then some, but I think the Jets offer a more intriguing package because of their head coach. Simply because of their head coach. I mean, again, Robert Saleh took fucking. Oh, sorry. He took. That's my one for the game. One. That's my one. He took.
We need to talk about that rule. We need to talk about that
rule. He took a JV college defense and made it the top 5 in the NFL. So with all the injuries we had, so I mean, there's obvious intelligence. I mean, look at the Legion of Boom when he was with the Saints. I mean, not the Saints, the Seahawks. So, there's obvious experience, and I'm pretty sure that the camaraderie between the two, if they ever got together, would actually mesh very well between Saleh and Watson.
This is all contingent on the Watson even wanting to go to the Jets. Do you think he would waive his no trade to go to the Jets? Does he feel he has a shot to win there? That's the thing.
No.
Only because Woody Johnson owns the team and he hasn't proven that. It's a great step to get Saleh. That's a great step. But who else is making decisions there? What's gonna, there's just too many unknowns, and other teams have kind of proven to be a little more serious about winning right now.
Like, honestly, the best place that I would love to see him go is Miami. Like, I think that's the best place for him if he's really in a win now sort of situation.
For sure.
So what would you do with Fitzpatrick? Because he's going to want to play. He's going to want to start.
You trade him.
Trade piece.
Houston would take Fitz for what?
Houston would take Fitzpatrick. Like,
they would take him, but Miami would send Tua because he's the experiment.
Or would they send the number 3 pick?
Exactly.
Would they send Houston their pick back or trade Tua?
I honestly think that the number 3 pick stays with Miami. They send Fitzpatrick and
their number 18 pick, their other
number
pick.
18 pick.
Yeah.
I think Houston doesn't even budge without the number 3 pick. Honestly, I think they have to take the number 3 pick.
They have to. Yeah.
And Tua. That's what I personally think is Tua.
I'm gonna agree with
got drafted very, very high, and I don't think he's just some bad experiment. I think he's like, not that you guys are saying he's a bad experiment. I don't think he's a bad experiment. I think has a lot of potential. And poor guy. I hope he don't get sent to Houston because he don't deserve that. But I think he has a high ceiling with a number 3 pick. And maybe throw in another second rounder. That's too good for Houston to pass up.
But Houston management is bad, so
exactly.
Houston management is bad, and if Tua, I mean, again, if they're tanking and Tua turns out to be a bad QB, then okay, well, they're already tanking. So what's the worst that they're going to do?
He could go to the Patriots for a 6th round pick because somehow Belichick will somehow pull that off.
Probably so, but that's why I'm saying I don't see Magic leaving by a trade. I think he's going to leave on his own.
5th round pick and a Nokia phone.
Right? I mean, whether they cut him or what, he'll end up as a backup somewhere, and wherever he goes, he's
except here. No. Except here, because we're getting rid of Jimmy G. No, we're definitely getting rid of Jimmy G. That's gonna happen.
Talk about after season stuff next.
Yeah. You mentioned your Niners. We know Houston has traded with the NFC West before. Would they do it again and possibly just send Deshaun to the Niners?
We'd have to give up a lot for him, but Yeah.
Is
What
it
do you
worth
mean?
it?
He's worth it.
Though.
Would he
Do
be
you
worth
think
it?
he's worth it? Do you think he's worth it in
So
the salary cap hit?
so the salary cap we're not worried about next year because
It's the
he's
future
cheap
years,
next
though.
year.
It's the future
Future
years.
year, future years, we would have to restructure. That's a definite. That has to happen. So
Yeah.
that's all part of the package. The other key things that I've been reading is that they're thinking, oh, we'll just send Bosa over. That's dumb. You're not going to send our best pass rush over there, unless we acquire something like J.J. Watt. But
Or
even then,
J.J. Watt for
that's
that last
dumb.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe something. So that's dumb. But Bosa's cheaper and better and faster. Why would you trade? Like, no, you
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. So the other thing is they're thinking about trading up our inside linebacker, which I can see because they can always replace that. They can always replace that in the draft, and then we can still keep our offense, which is Samuel Ayu, Kittle, Juszczyk, Mostert, and now Watson. That's a dumb combination to have. Like no one wants to deal with us if that's the case. But I think if we trade, we're gonna trade. We're gonna get rid of our pick, number 12, two key defensive players, and then maybe next year's second rounder for Watson. Or I'm sorry, one key defensive player, Jimmy G, and then second year. So I think it's gonna be like 5 total players for Watson.
Now, of course, there is still the possibility Watson doesn't get traded at all. If Houston hires Bieniemy, and how he hasn't been hired yet is beyond me. Obviously, it might partially be because the Chiefs are still playing. The guy's proven he's worthy of a head coaching job. Whether it's a race thing, I have no idea. There always seems to be an issue in the NFL with this kind of thing, hiring black coaches. But
I mean,
Bieniemy, let's be honest, is probably the perfect hire for Houston if they want to keep Watson there. And Deshaun Watson fits in the plans. Maybe he would stay if Bieniemy is the head coach, because he built an offense.
Like he's not allowed to interview until after the Chiefs are actually out.
Unless the Chiefs grant permission. So,
which never happens because they don't want him distracted during the game.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a chance that if the Chiefs win this weekend, they have 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. They have that week, kind of, give him a week to do whatever interviews he needs, accept the job, and then go finish the Super Bowl thing, that sort of thing. But obviously, we'll see after this weekend. But I think if Houston is smart enough to hire him, they have a chance to keep Watson happy and keep him there in Houston.
Yep.
Either way, J.J. Watt is out. So whether it's by free agency or trade, we'll see. But I don't know if anyone's going to want to trade for J.J. Watt, knowing that he's going to be a free agent anyway.
He'd be a rental.
Yeah,
just be a rental.
Yeah, it's going to be, he's going to hit the free agent market, and then it's going to be a mad dash for an awesome pass rusher.
So. They'll cut him. They didn't do one more morally right thing and actually just cut him.
Yeah,
I would get a trade out of him.
You can try, but who would trade him for a rental for 17 mil? I mean,
a lot of teams. We did for Sanders.
I mean, how did that work out for y'all?
Well, he got us to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
He literally turned our offense around halfway through the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for that price, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll give you a proof-it contract, because if they cut him and then he gets claimed, then okay, cool. But I don't know.
Yeah. It's a lot going on that one. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember, it's not guaranteed though, JC. That's the thing.
No, it's not guaranteed. But the idea is that if you trade and take him, you have to pay him that money, guaranteed, obviously. Or if Houston just cuts him, then someone can try and sign him cheaper. Is it worth it to trade for this and lose some of your draft picks or whatever you have for one guy for 17 mil, or just let him hit the market and then see what you can get? So
unless he does like an 8 mil for 2 years and keep him longer.
I mean, I could see him taking less money because he wants a championship, and he doesn't think he's going to get one in Houston. So, I mean, I don't think he's worth trading for. So, all right. Before we move on into NBA, we'll just share one bit of news out of the WNBA, the Atlanta Dream. There was a lot of controversy around their owner. They are for sale. They're being sold. It's almost finalized. Kelly Loeffler, who had a lot of controversial comments, which led to her entire team campaigning for her opponent, who ended up winning the Senate race for her seat. And there's finalizing a sale of the team. I know LeBron James was throwing his hat in there for buying the team, but they have confirmed she's going to have no association with the team. So good on them for that, because there's a lot of distraction, a lot of controversy around that, and they're just to be done with that. Wash your hands clean is good. No details on who's buying. No details on who's buying, but we'll
So
see.
what
Are they
kind of
moving
comments
the
were being
team, or are they
made?
just
What's
are
up?
they just changing ownership, or are they actually moving the team?
They're changing ownership as I understand it. They're going to keep the team in Atlanta, I would think.
So I'm
Uh,
completely oblivious to that. So what happened? Like, you don't have to
when
tell
they
me
went
this.
into the WNBA bubble, she had a lot of comments about the NBA and the WA embracing the Black Lives Matter movement, thinking sports and politics should be kept separate, uh, basically saying that the BLM movement was violent, domestic terrorism borderline. I mean, and she was serving in public office as a senator,
She
Republican
was
senator
a
from Georgia.
Republican senator.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
So the typical. Got it. All right.
yeah.
That's
So
Yeah.
she lost
So
her seat.
We're keeping
Yeah.
that out of
her
the
entire
conversation.
team was like, "You're losing your seat. You're losing your team. You're losing everything."
They
And
campaigned hard for her opponent, and her opponent had probably no chance to win in Georgia until the team started campaigning as the name guys started getting out there. The money started coming in from donors, and he ended up winning the seat in a runoff. So, and that flipped the Senate. So,
Interesting.
yep. All right, NBA. Nori, you requested a lot of this discussion. There's a lot that's gone on in the NBA. There's been a bit of a power shift into the East with Brooklyn's super team emerging now with the hearted trade. And all of a sudden, Kyrie Irving wants to play again, you know? Yay, super team. Even though they just got beat by Cleveland
they just
tonight.
lost
They
in
just
double
lost
overtime to
it.
Cleveland.
Yes. um, is this really a super team when 2/3 of them, or I'm sorry, a third of them don't even play defense?
Super egos, yes.
Super teams only happen when people do something super.
Okay.
So that team wouldn't even work in NBA 2K.
No, it would not.
And Kevin Durant already is mildly actually taking jabs at him because he had said the other night, he goes, he said literally, yeah, I mean, listen, I look at James Harden in the point guard role. That's his natural position. That's his natural role in the court. So no, I wasn't surprised at all. So a lot of people have taken that as maybe they're reading into it, but that's a slight dig at Kyrie, who's actually the point guard. I think Durant and Harden obviously can play together. They've been playing together for years. That's natural chemistry. But Kyrie Irving did not sign up to be the third option, and he's clearly
Alfred.
the third option.
He is clearly Alfred in this trio.
He's Alfred. He did not sign up to be Alfred. So I can't wait to watch them self-implode. It's one of the greatest joys I like is watching other teams in my division fail. I don't even think they make the playoffs.
They're sitting at, I think it's the 5 seed right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
They did phenomenal. Harden and Durant did phenomenal together.
Oh, yeah, Harden
well,
popped up.
together when Harden was taking the 6-man role. But
Right. Well, no, even the I mean, I think their first night, Harden put up a triple double. But again,
yeah.
if you actually have to put up a triple double for your team to win, like they put 74 points up together. Championship teams just don't do that. Even when LeBron went to Miami the first time, or when Boston formed one of the first big threes we ever saw, Durant and Pierce and Allen were spreading the ball around, getting their teammates involved. Then you knew they were an actual super team.
Garnett.
I want to see that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Garnett. I'm sorry, my bad. Golden State, you'll never locate that ball because there's a million shooters and everybody had a shot. I don't see that happening with the Nets at all. I just don't.
Name 2 other players on the Nets, not the big 3.
Go.
I could 2 years ago. I could 2 years ago only. I could 2 years ago only because they beat a healthy Golden State in the playoffs. Not Golden State. They beat a really good team in the East. It took a couple of games off them. I was really surprised, and because I honestly think the Nets are up and coming, but they're doing what Houston did. Everything that's making them good, instead of adding onto those pieces, they're taking away from it. Durant was an excellent signing. I don't think Irving has the ego to play next to him to be like Robin, and Harden was just the nail in the coffin in that shit show.
I don't think Kyrie has had the motivation to play ever since he won the championship in Cleveland. It's like he accomplished his goal, hit the game-winning shot, obviously the series, the finals clinching shot, but ever since then his career just has been,
because he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't like he really kept taking jabs at LeBron over the years, and he thought that he was going to be the guy in Boston, and he wasn't. He was never the best player there.
Yeah.
He thinks and he's not even the best player on the Nets. Like he's actually literally never been the best player on any team.
You're saying that you don't think the Nets make the playoffs? Does a team from New York make the playoffs this year?
No.
Not gonna be the Knicks.
They're sitting in the 8th seed right now. I'm just saying. I mean, the East. I granted, yes, they call it a power shift. I don't even see how. I still think the power shift lies with the Sixers and the Bucks. Um, you
The
know,
Heat,
you know. I'm sorry,
I
say again.
mean,
Miami.
they're still
And Miami. Well, Miami's sitting
They're
out
a
of it.
second half season though. They
Yeah.
don't show that in the first half.
Yeah, I honestly don't put too much stock into the first month because again, this is when the Knicks traditionally do really well. Is the first month,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I don't get super excited about the first month. But yeah, Miami, like Mike said, give them time. Last year, they really showed everybody who they were. The Bucks, again, people are getting hard being kind of dicks to Giannis. Like he hasn't changed up his game, yada yada. He's a back-to-back MVP. What do you want him to change in the first month? So I don't know. The Nets, I just feel like they implode, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I could see it happening with those egos. Who knows? Rob, you mentioned the Bucks in our group chat just about how it seems Giannis can't catch a break. He's always got a team that he's gonna have to deal with. Can't
you
keep
really
from a
can't.
chip.
Like he had to deal with Jimmy Butler and like the Miami Heat just exploding last year at the right
Their
time.
defense was insane.
Yeah.
Like they literally shut down the MVP. Like going into Milwaukee and just having the MVP come out with 7 points, 8 points.
Well, he didn't play
Like,
2 games, but I think they oversold how hurt he was. I think they didn't want to make him look bad.
yeah,
I think he was hurt, but not as hurt as they made him out to be.
but I mean, like he's got role players that don't know how to step up when he's on the court. Like when he's on the court, he is the focus, and like
He's the whole team. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, like you could see, like they have the talent there. Like when he was actually injured and not playing, they ran and they played defense and they shot and they did everything that they should be doing when he's on the floor. And it's just weird. Like it's not that he's lacking talent on that team. The talent's there. Like
Maybe
sure.
maybe it's something in their offense, the way they're coached. They feel so much pressure they have to run everything through him. That when he's not on the floor, they play a little more free and a little more efficient. Maybe that's something they have to change about their offense in general. Not necessarily Giannis's game, but something about their offense in general.
I think it's just their offense is not confident when he's on the floor. Like, oh, but if I missed, Giannis could have taken the shot.
Yeah.
Oh, Giannis was in the post. I should have just passed him to there because he's gonna score.
Mhm.
Well, why don't you take those chances yourself? Why don't
That comes
take
down
those-
that comes down to coaching. You really have
Yeah.
to coach these players, their confidence. They're still a young team. Now the Rockets, obviously they've gotten rid of Harden. It seems like we thought all that drama was done, but it does continue. Nora, you mentioned to us that Victor Oladipo didn't even want to go to Houston. PJ Tucker wants a new contract. What has to be done in Houston at this point? So
I feel bad for Victor Oladipo. I really, really do because he was, I believe, originally drafted by the Magic. Wasn't doing great there. Went to the Thunder, did okay there, and he really turned his career around with the Pacers. Like he was the guy. He was starting to look like the guy that they drafted. He was looking awesome, and then I think he liked the community. Like he's one of those rare players who liked a small market team.
yeah,
So he wasn't asked, was traded there. I think he's going to really take his time coming back from injury, and he made some really long Instagram posts where you could tell like he didn't want to be there, and then PJ Tucker wanting a new contract. Like I don't think there's any team players there left. I initially thought that there was going to be a good team, maybe make the playoffs, but I'm definitely walking that back because with all that coming out, I think the whole team needs to be like blown up.
they're kind of at this point. You're feeling they're going the way of the Texans. They just tank. That seems to be what they're
not as actually, yeah, they are as bad as them because they're capped for money horribly. They really listen. They blew their load trying to win a championship 2-3 years in a row and got to the Western Conference Finals a couple times, but just wasn't enough to seal the deal. So what made them good is they kept giving away defensive pieces. 3 years ago was their peak. They were like, I thought they were going to win it all.
Yeah, at this point, maybe just ride out the season and let's see what you do with the draft picks because you got a boatload of them, in the coming years, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The Suns. I don't know if the Suns have really been a surprise. You've put there in a group chat that you're kind of surprised they're doing so well. With the run that they made in the bubble last year, I feel like they're the kind of team that was like, okay, they're showing what they can do. They're getting hot at the right time. I don't recall if they actually made the playoffs last year or came close, but
They were very close.
they're very close.
Nobody expected them to be that good.
Yeah, they were a scary
it came down
team.
to the very last game, and had they won, they would have made out of it.
Yeah. Just the idea of the fact that they got that close, that nobody gave them a shot, and they put themselves in position tells me, hey, all of a sudden this team is hot. This team knows how to play. That's confidence in the next season. So their 7-5 record isn't surprising to me, but do you guys think there's a chance they have it with such a young team and such a fun team really at times to watch? The Suns have always been a fun team. They have a chance to win the West. Or at least make some.
Win the West, no. But I do
make the playoffs. Yes,
yeah,
they'll make the playoffs as maybe a 5 or 6 seed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them beating either of the LA teams in a long series.
Maybe the Clippers. We know how they are in the playoffs.
But Kawhi historically is not a choker. That was some kind of a anomaly last year.
No, that's the Clippers. It doesn't matter who's on the team. It's the uniform. It's the uniform.
Yeah.
That's
I think it seems to be Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers, they were up 3-1.
Doc Rivers
and now there's no more Doc Rivers.
Questionable.
I
He
mean,
made some really questionable plays. Like his rotation wasn't anything. Like he literally had his starters run ragged.
He coached them out of the playoffs. He absolutely coached them out of the playoffs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He kept Paul George in for 36 minutes. Did y'all forget that guy?
I'm telling you, man. Like he ran his starters ragged, and like
that's something Thibodeau does. The Knicks coach. That's what he's known for. Is like 48 minutes in the game. Cool, you're playing for 45 of them. Like he did that shit to Derrick Rose and killed him.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. Paul George, you trash. Yeah, I know what video I'm talking about.
I know what video it is. Yeah. So
also, like,
that's a great video.
Look at the Suns as like that mystery team anymore. Like they have a veteran point guard in Chris Paul this year. Like they have they have Aiden as a solid defensive-minded center who goes up and gets those rebounds. Like
in today's NBA, which is
But he's not all. But he's also like he has a shot. Like it's not like he's a modern center now. So like you see him taking those the three every once in a while. You see him playing the post. You see him playing against the bigger players on the other team. Like you have Mikal Bridges. Like you have like all these pieces that are really solid, and like they remind me of like I guess like the Spurs, honestly. Like I want to say like the early 2000s Spurs. Like
I mean, even the Spurs now aren't playing that bad. They're making some waves right too. Now, everyone's not giving them a chance, but they're playing with nothing to lose. When a team's got nothing to lose, they're pretty dangerous. And I think honestly, for once not being in the playoffs gave everyone a chance to rest and get healthy. And suddenly they're playing like crazy. So
what really threw me off is Monty Williams being already talked about as coach of the year, and James Jones, a former NBA player, played with the Miami and a few other teams, executive of the year. For him just stepping into that role, that's extremely impressive. They have something going there. So that's why I'm so surprised, like how well things are coming together.
I mean, he pulled the deal to get Chris Paul, and all of a sudden that's turning that franchise even better than what they were. So that's a piece missing. But go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Oh no. I agree. Like the Chris Paul trade was a very smart move on their part, and I enjoy watching their games. Like they are actually a fun team to watch.
They're not a joke anymore. They're not the joke team anymore.
They play a very
Absolutely not.
Nice game, and it's really really fun to watch.
And Devin Booker too. Can we ever mention him?
Yeah. Let's just see if all these games get played, because there's been so many postponements due to COVID issues in the NBA. How they reschedule, or if they even play them all, we'll see. Last bit of thing we have on the NBA, LaMelo Ball. Obviously, the Ball family has been, we know where all the talent lies in this family, and it's this kid. Youngest player to record a triple-double. Obviously, an early Rookie of the Year favorite. You do a lot better when your dad's not as involved. That's just all I'm going to say about the guy. So,
I thought it was a fluke for the longest time. I thought because like a lot of NBA players can look really good, really good. I mean, Stephon Marbury literally has a statue of actually built of him in China for being back-to-back champions there. And he was good here, but his later years he went there and like dominated. So I thought that was the same thing with LaMelo. Like, okay, you're right, cool, you're dominating Europe. That's cute, but he's the real deal. So I'm having to eat those words. He's really good.
He
I think
is.
Okay.
It begs. It's the interesting question though. Obviously, the NBA has a rule where you can't come into the NBA until you're 19 years old and at least a year removed from high school. That's been a controversial rule. Players can't go straight high school to the NBA. You have to spend a year in college, the whole one and done thing. A lot of players though are looking to either join the G League. That seems to be an option they're talking about, maybe joining the G League or going playing overseas so you can make money and develop. Do you think it's beneficial for people if they're going to keep this one and done rule in there? Do you think it's beneficial for kids to go overseas and learn the European style of ball? It is very different from how we play in the U.S. Very pass heavy, a little more fundamental based, and honestly a little bit tougher. Those crowds there don't mess around. There's a reason there's plexiglass, and it's not COVID related. They're ruthless. But do you think it's beneficial now? And do we think a lot of talent coming out of high school will consider going overseas to play rather than going to the college ranks?
1,000%. One of the biggest advocates, I know Rob will know this, was Kobe Bryant for this, because he was saying that he was teaching his kids, like look at how they played, that like the old ABA style of basketball is fundamentals. And he's like, and he was taking shots at all kinds of players, all kinds of young players coming in the NBA a few years ago, where he was saying that they don't know fundamentals. They know cool tricks. They know cool passes. They don't know the actual like basic shit. And he was saying everybody should play in Europe. Mark Cuban, a huge advocate for European play. Yeah, look what it did like for ball. That's awesome. Absolutely, they should spend a year in Europe.
I really like what's going on with LaMelo.
Mm-hmm.
I like the team that he's on, actually.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's team.
Yeah.
He has the opportunity to be the star. Like,
seriously, yeah.
And like, he's already gone through, high school and his European tour with those people doubting him. So like, hitting the NBA and people doubting him, it's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his brothers came in with this, oh, I'm the big shot, I'm da-da-da-da-da-da, I've got nothing to prove, I'm the star, and they just... But LaMelo's come in with this whole, all right, y'all doubt me, I want to prove myself.
To be fair, that was more the dad though at first. The dad really made things so bad.
Yeah.
I remember the first ball ever, like Lonzo. I don't remember him. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember him talking a lot of shit.
It was always the dad. It was always LeVar.
Yeah, Lonzo was quiet.
No, they've all been pretty quiet.
They're all quiet, but
Yeah.
like Lonzo was just, I'm gonna make my child sound like the best player ever, even because I beat Michael Jordan in 1-on-1 because I'm that good. I'm like,
Yep.
The dad make him look
I got
really,
the video
really bad.
footage too. It's
Yeah.
10-8.
The dad made him look really bad, and I'm glad that LaMelo was smart enough to like hold on ankle in that way. And that's the best move under Michael Jordan that I've ever seen Charlotte do. His draft LaMelo Ball, because Jordan screwed up every pick.
To be fair, his brothers all had been saying for years that LaMelo was the best one out of the three of them. So they're actually.
I thought they'd be nice.
Yeah.
I thought they'd be nice. Really did.
Obviously not. So I mean, yeah.
like, they do something.
I mean, I like the idea of players possibly going overseas. Obviously, I'll always think the smart thing is to go to college. I'm a little traditionalist that way because, sure, you go overseas, but if you get hurt and you can't play basketball, what the hell are you going to do with your life? So it's always good to have something to fall back on. But in a way, I think this would help the NCAA. They're always worried about one and dones, and you don't need a lot of star power in the tournament. Obviously, the tournament this year is going to be entirely in the city of Indianapolis, which is going to be a lot of fun. They've already started announcing dates mid-March. Get ready to make your bets in Vegas, right? But if these high-profile players, whether they graduate high school early or go, for the year into Europe, whatever they decide to do, you have a lot more chance of players that actually go to college staying 3 or 4 years because they're not high-profile picks. They're not, big names on max preps or anything like that. And you're going to be able to build some really, really good teams that come tournament time. It's going to be fun to watch because these teams all know how to play each other. There's a reason so many of these younger mid-major teams come in and upset these, like the Kentuckys and the Dukes at times, because these guys have been playing together for 4 years. They are a team. They're not rentals like, the 5 starters for Kentucky have been for so many years. So I think I would like to see that in college ball a lot. So
that's fair. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So either way, I think it helps the NBA talent, I think the college talent. And for a lot of these college players, it might be the last time they ever play basketball, and that's fine with them. So it's all good with that.
It's true.
Yep. Good discussion, guys. We're slowly getting into a little bit more of the NBA talk as the NFL slowly fades away and we go into mourning for football season. So there'll be a bit more of that. The hockey season has just kicked off, and Major League Baseball is already starting to make some free agent moves. Yeah. Thank you, George Springer, for all you did in Houston. Good luck in Toronto. And Toronto was ready to sign Michael Brantley. Houston's like, hold on, we got a lot more money now. Do you want to come back to Houston? And he's like, sure, 2 years, $32 million. Thank God, because we almost lost our whole outfield, basically. So, but this is getting into winter meeting territory for Major League Baseball, so we'll see what kind of crazy free agent signings that we do have coming out of all this and trades and all that stuff. So that'll be a lot more fun to discuss. So, all right, guys.
On it right now, Vegas is winning your division.
In hockey, we're 3 games in. You kiss my ass. We just wiped the floor with St. Louis 8-0. Games.
Rob's gonna be that smug guy, like, well, as a second place pick'em champion, he's gonna be a smug guy. I did with the fantasy league, and I am currently winning the playoffs. He's a real smug guy now. Watching.
Yeah.
Maybe.
As the guy getting the green screen consistently working, that kind of thing too. So.
and I'm tech support. Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah,
You're not special, Rob.
Thanks everyone for joining us. As always, this is always fun to get together and talk with you guys, talking sports. Slowly, we just want this all to go away so we can hang out and talk shit in person. Yeah.
Oh, could you imagine? Oh, we don't need that. You have to sit me away from that guy up there. I can't stand that. I can't sit next to him.
As fun as it is watching y'all.
Everybody's pointing in different directions because all of our boxes are different. So I don't know what you guys are Brady bunching over here, but I can't see.
I'm pointing at you.
He's pointing at you on my screen.
he's
So.
definitely pointing at you. Yeah.
That's fine. So.
Yeah, I can't sit next to you.
I know we all want to get together and play. I know we all want to get together and play Mario Party 4 without having to do it through Dolphin. That'd be great. Just
No, don't.
You don't want the smoke. I don't tell these kids.
We'll never get the end of it. Please.
Don't let him win. He won twice. It's over.
I won twice in a row. You don't want this. Hey, you know what? We'll host a Twitch live session, and then we'll show these kids.
He technically only won one of them. In the first game, Cram's computer went out. So
no.
Yeah, that looked a little fishy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay.
Extremely fishy.
Apparently, I guess Cram was running on Windows Vista. Who knows, right?
Oh,
yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Rob, good luck to your Bucks this weekend. We'll see next week if we'll be recapping the conference championships next week. We'll see if Rob has a smile on his face or if he's ready to talk the next steps for his team. Because once his team is out, we'll be breaking down.
Yeah, take a nap. Please sleep it off.
Face the music, damn it. Anyway, joining us once again in the forest, we got our 49ers fan, Chicken Wing.
No, hold up. I got an alert.
What's that?
We'll wait. Go ahead. We're live. We'll wait.
No. 49ers. Oh, no. It's old news. Never mind. Chicken Wing. Sorry.
Still an Among Us ghost over there. We got Nori.
Finish your task already, stupid. So we can get off this ship.
Rob, good luck to your Bucks this weekend going into Green Bay.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Two of his 3 teams won already. Why are you giving him good luck? You don't deserve good luck.
Because I'm a nice guy. That's
hey, if I get all 3 and we win the lottery, everyone gets a share.
Ooh. I'm always down for
we lost. We lost.
I know.
So I know.
Yeah,
I was so sad.
There's still a chance, all right?
Telling me there's a chance.
Yes.
I'm JC. Go Spurs, go Avs. Tighten up. What can you do? And we'll see you guys next week when we talk more.
Don't go past that like we didn't hear that. No, it's okay. Go ahead. Tighten up. Tighten up next year, guys. Tighten up. We can do it.
Bye. We'll see you later. Later.